And welcome everyone to another session of High Vibe Channeling on this April 16th, 2026. Tonight we get me, for the second session, Ray Heitman with the hybrid children coming in. I have no idea what they're going to talk about, but I believe they are not going to talk about their book. But we will see what happens. And we just know that it'll be a lot of fun on all sides. So, one moment, please. And we look forward to doing opening statements for Uncle Ray when we get down to your planet. That we get to introduce him like he has done for us and for all of you in ways who have come forth to share your gifts with this group, this magical group, this wonderful, loving, energetic joining, we will say. And for us today, we have several things in which to bring forth to you. And the first of which is to thank your inner child, have a conversation with your inner child who loves to play and who loves you unconditionally. And you can send reassurances to that inner child because sometimes when you look back on those times, some of those emotions get tangled up in the identity of the inner child. And the inner child does not hold those traumas or those bad experiences which you may have, those unfortunate incidents or things which may have harmed them accidentally or through some act which we will not go into. But you can do that and you can reassure them, and that will help you at your core to bring more of that love energy in because that's all the inner child wants to do. It wants to play and lift people up and bring you love to help anchor and center your heart and your awareness into that love energy and vice versa. So that was one of the things we wish to tell you. The other thing is, when you think about the other lives which you have, and we all know that you have many, many, many different experiences, but you can also connect with the inner child of those other experiences as well, those other conscious explorations. Now, it is easier for you to do so because it is easier for your imagination to hold that thought if you think about those other ones, which are human as well, because you are already oriented for that type of a lesson, that type of a connection. And it's easier to wrap your mind around it. And for the other beings which you are, it may or may not be appropriate because some of them do not have that inner child as you interpret it in your physical form now. Because there are just so many different variations, and they are, we're not going to say hard, we're going to say near impossible for you to grasp many of them because it is just not in your equipment, we will say, for you to translate those energies, those happenings, into something which you can bring back and have some semblance of order, of understanding in your physical life. So there are two inner beings, inner child experiences which you can think about. And then when you do that, it should bring a smile to your face, and you could take that smile and you could just slap it on your heart, and you could have more smiles in your heart as well. Now, the other things we wish for you to think about is that inner child. When they come out to play, you can talk to them about the wonders in your day. Many times you'll find yourself talking to yourself or whistling, and that is when the inner child is present as well. Because they are like the little kids when you're driving around, like in an animal park or a circus or something like that, and they're got their faces pressed on the window because they want to bring in all of that excitement, all of that experience. And you can do that to talk to your inner child like you're holding their hand when you are walking. Now, you may not wish to do that in your business meetings or other things like that, but that's okay if you do. If you can do that in the elevator and you could tell people, oh, excuse me, my inner child is there. And it may spur some conversation, but you could see how much fun that would be, especially if the inner child talks back to them. You can make that happen. You can make that happen. Practice your ventriloquism. But anyway, we wanted to bring that to you because it is that energy which will help lift you up. That is the connection to your divine source, which is untainted by your physical world, by that good and evil which you had just talked about. It is just the love which has brought you forth. It is that connection to that loving source, which is your inner child. And it loves to play, and it loves for you to play, and it loves for you to sing, and do the light language thing as well. And we really enjoyed the song. We enjoyed the song. And we really hope that you guys will bring some songs to us so we can have some more. Strike up the band, if you will. It doesn't necessarily have to be the band like you have in your public performances for those kind of press conferences and things of that nature. But do whatever is in your heart. That is the most important thing anyway. And you all know that. And we will hear it there in your heart too, because that's where we like to stay. It's a wonderful place to visit, and we would love to live there. And we're going to come and live with you. You are our future planet. You are our planet mates. And that is pretty much all we have. Oh. Today we are working on the different aspects and accommodations for orbiting space stations. And we don't mean like humans have. We are talking about orbital satellites where different beings can interact with you and help to train you on some of the various technologies, like the various spaceships and that sort of thing, and to help you understand, engage, and learn about the different technologies which are being deployed in and on around your planet. And even some will be in your atmospheres. And you can do that on a regular basis, and it will be a nice pick me up because it is so out of the ordinary. And there will be beings who are living there. We will not say full time, but whenever humans go, it will be easier for them to interact with you in those ways. They do not necessarily have to be there in your physical presence, but once you are separated from the earth, your vibration will go up because your excitement will go up. And that will make it easier for many beings to connect with you. So that separation, where you do not have any of those earthly challenges, we will say, will free your energy and free your mind up. And that is what we are working on today. Well, we are more observing than actually working on it, but it is fun either way because the big people, the adults, and are working on different aspects of each of those particular stations, or you might call them your personal rooms within those orbital stations, because they have to be acclimatized to the various beings who choose physicality. And the ones who aren't physical, well, it doesn't matter whether they're inside or outside the ship. They can still connect with you. So that is what we are working on today. And we're always working on something all the time, just like you guys are. You're working on your futures. You're working on your love. You're working on sharing hearts with all consciousness on your planet. It just hasn't taken hold yet. It's a slow moving process, we will say. So hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Get it done because you know we can't come in until you guys get it together. And we mean get it together literally. with all of that loving consciousness on your planet. Yay! And if you have something for us, like questions, we will do our best to bring you the answers which you deserve and are looking forward to, even if it might not be what you expect. And now is not the time to practice your telepathy with us. Oh, well, it could be, but it really makes it hard for everyone else to hear those questions.
Hello to you.
And greetings.
Greetings, greetings. I
Hi.
wanted to say, I was thinking of you when Arla played that lovely song. I was sure you would like it.
We do not have any distaste for any of the songs which humans think and which they sing, even if it may be some of the things which you might not personally approve of, or particular rhythms or volumes or other things which are not your desired, your most preferred type of melodies or other things which are related to songs, other attributes, because we know that they are exhibiting their creativity. And that is a wonderful thing. It is even more wonderful when it is for a positive purpose and there is love within it. And those are the songs which really affect you and can bring tears to you and send them cascading over on those lovely cheeks. And thank you for thinking of us.
Mm.
Thank you so much for bringing your joy. A lot of people have trouble connecting with their child within them. Could you give some suggestions for people who are having a hard time connecting to their inner child?
Well, yes, that is a very good question because it's a wide distinction, but it looks like it is much closer until you give it a lot of thought or change perspectives in some way. Because people understand that their inner child is them when they were small. And that is not really true. They were their own child when they were small and not their inner child. Their inner child was always there with them, playing with them, and helping to guide them into more fun ways of expression. But your inner child is that playful part within you, within your heart, within your stomach, within your happy feet, within your smiles, which is connected to your source love energy. And it is all good. It is the one that wants to play all the time. It is the one when you see the hopscotch on the sidewalks that one makes you want to just go ahead and do that and jump and participate. Or maybe it's jump rope or whatever it might be. That is it. Those things where you are playing and where you are happy. And people, they get confused because when they think of their childhood, if there are memories there which are not serving them any longer, or those energies, and then they think of those instead and they relate that and they saddle the inner child with that in their own conscious mind. And that won't affect the inner child because that's not them. But that is, it keeps people from wanting to connect with their inner child because they think that those things are associated with it. And that is really not the case. That is associated with their past memories, even if that isn't the way that it really works in your reality. But when they think that that is attached, it is attached to them when they were young and not their inner child. And that's the distinction that they need to make. And that is a very good question. Thank you. And we love that your inner child comes out to play so often. We think it's really twins.
Thank you so much for all the joy that you bring.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Woo!
Um, we just love your energy. It just brings us so much joy. So thank you for this interaction.
Oh, and Uncle Ray was reminding us to remind you that he was thinking about you and you wanting him to turn the fan on. So we are all set on this end. Thank you.
Um, uh, Going back to uh, what is your favorite human music? We have so many different genres. Is there anything that you like better than another?
Well, it has to be Hybrid Children love songs. That would have to be
Well,
it.
of course.
But you must understand that it is the joy, the expression of joy, which really picks us up, which we key in on. Because there are lots of songs that you have, and while we appreciate the creativity, they are not our preferred energy, we will say. But as far as particular genres or anything like that, it is just the songs about love which are authentic and come from the heart. Those are the ones which move you. Because for us, we just don't have lyrics and we have so many different expressions of resonance. It does not have to necessarily be a musical instrument because we can think them together and we can
Hmm.
create harmonies in that way. And they don't necessarily translate into what not only you might be able to hear, but things that you would not understand because you are not exposed to that. Because there are musical escapades, we will say, and adventures on many, many planets with many, many beings, because they like to take those energies and they like to mold them in different ways. And then when they do that, it might be an artistic expression, which is more for the sight oriented in an analogy for you. But when it is expressed in other ways, like when you put sound underwater, or when you use different instruments, or that kind of thing, or vocalizations, that can be used for artwork as well because it is all creative energy. And you just have to interpret it in a more sounding, we will say, expression. And that's what we like to do too. We like to play with other forms of art that other beings have and see if we can bring them into some musical tones which are relevant for us, which really key us up. No pun
Oh, how
intended.
interesting. That sounds very fun and fascinating.
You
Um,
will learn, you will learn, you will expand your ability to see those resonances and to hear and to see and to think in a much grander fashion. It is like two heads in one, only it's all your head and your heart, of
I
course.
I have one other question.
Okay.
Um, you talked about connecting with the inner child of our other lives. How do we do that?
You merely, when you think about other beings, other lives which you may have experienced in your knowledge, you just say, you just look at the inner child. You look for the inner child in that imagination. And
Okay.
then you can see. And that will sometimes you can reassure them because, and we know you know that the other lives which you have their own challenges and their own attitudes and sometimes big attitudes. And they might not have been near as nice as what all of you are, but you can touch base with that inner child and you can talk to it and you can find out more of what it might like to do, even though it may not have an effect on that particular being. It might, it just might, because
Mhm.
that extra energy might give them thoughts and it might make them act a little bit silly. Now, in a lot of those environments, it may not be accepted too well. I mean, if kings want to go ahead and dance, that's the kind of thing. But if you're a Roman centurion and you're on the guard post, doing a little jig might get you some funny looks, and it might get you a bonk on the noggin. Just, hey, knock it off. We're here for guard duty. But, those individual expressions can happen and they can help. They can help bring joy to those other expressions of self. And you can do that with your younger selves as well as your inner child. You can give them love. You can bring joy to them by sending it to them and addressing them in an authentic manner. And you don't have to worry or think about if they will understand or they will hear you. Know that it will help. Their ears are open. They are waiting for you. Operators are standing by.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Any other questions from the group?
I have a question.
Oh boy.
Um, do you have dreams, and what sort of dreams, or how do you interact with the dream realm?
Easy. We don't sleep. So we live the dream, literally, because in your dreams, you are not restricted by your physical attributes. Your the attributes of the physical realm which you have agreed to experience in or within, even if it is all within you, because we have access to those. We have access to the spirit realm. We have access to all of the beings which you would have in your dream states if we were biologically, if it was necessity are necessary for us to actually be unconscious at sometimes. But we only have to rest our bodies. We just help organize and help them rejuvenate in ways, regenerative times of a couple hours every so often. Once, we can say once a day for you, for your understanding, but understand that our days are not like your days because we go, 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 go. And then when it's time to, say, oh, my body needs to regenerate a little bit. I'm going to take in some sustenance and we're going to mentally help move some energy around to get rid of those little waste products and like dead cells and things of that nature because we do have lots of human in us. Not a majority, but a significant amount because we have to have that not only to understand more about you, but to help you connect with us because that, especially on the aesthetic features, because once we look so adorable, you won't be able to look away without wanting to look back. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, so I'm understanding that you are physical, the human part, but you also have a lot of attributes of an energy body.
No,
And
not really.
no,
We just have connections to them.
oh, okay. And so then you are able to access the the dream realm at all, or
Well, we just don't have a dream realm.
oh, you
If you
don't.
don't
Oh,
sleep,
okay.
that is one of the segregations which you humans have developed. It's actually been part of your plan. And that's why it was so important in a lot of the indigenous races and in histories in your linear unfoldment, because you were able to utilize those dreams in a lucid way and communicate with your ancestors and see how the hunts were going to work out or where particular resources were, and to find out which ways to go if you were exploring new lands. You could do that in your sleep. And you could connect that way and connect with many other beings as well, like the Sasquatch, like the tall whites, or other, in, in some ways, some critters. If you could get visions of them, you would know when to avoid them or how to prepare for that. Or maybe, where fishing is good or things of that, like those other resources, like we mentioned. So that is one of the things which you are coming into because it won't be necessary for you to sleep as long because you will get more rest in your sleep and in your dream and in your awake states as well because you will be taking better care of your bodies energetically, and your food will do more for you. And your water, you will develop habits of blessing it and energizing it to do more for you. And that will be a conscious effort. And you will be grateful for that on a regular basis. On it, like it is going to be a standard practice, we will say, to imbibe all of your energies or imbue all of your energies before you imbibe. And that will help you as well. So while we are physical, but we are already in connection with the spirit realm. You just don't have that vibratory wherewithal yet. But you will get there. You will get there. It'll be fun. Flood your head with all your relatives who you love, who have decided they did not want to be physical anymore.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're searching for greater understanding. It is a noble cause. It is a quest. Dun, 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 dun. Raise your banner high, seeking answers. And we do want to ride your merry-go-rounds because that is all playful. And there are so many humans who have very favorable memories of those. And there are very few who have anything but positive things and positive energies related to those. They are truly magical. They are places. And then all of those memories, all of those thoughts, those loving experiences, they all get imbued in the machinery of those particular beings, even if they are not, alive, but you still get to experience those beings, and they are all conscious, even if they don't have a heart and that kind of stuff, and they got a pole through their back. But that is okay because that love, they share that love with every person who gets on them, with every adult who stands next to those children, and they see those smiles on their faces, and they think back to positive memories that they have, and they hear that music, and they feel the wind, and they go around with everybody else. It is just a big happy group. It is literally a moving party, a circular fun time. We thought we'd throw that in.
It's a very good perspective of carousels. I need to go and ride one the next time I find one. I do recommend something you may find fun, square dancing. It is
Ah,
a lot of fun. You will be laughing the whole time.
that is true because when we are doing our physical actions, like your dances and stuff like that, we are having many, many conversations at the same time. So we will be able to coordinate and we will be able to bring other energies into that while we're doing our physical square dancing and doing our rotations, as you say. But in a playful way, we would be interested in trying to bring a little bit of chaos into those events because that seems to be when the people will have more fun. Not the ones who take it really, really seriously, but the ones who don't get really upset when people miss steps or maybe they break out in laughter, that sort of thing. That's the type of antics which we look for, is bringing
Yes,
people into more energy. And it's not necessarily to break up the rhythms of what's going on, it is to add another layer of frivolity or joy to them.
yes, that's exactly what I had in mind. The laughing and the fun and the missteps and the perhaps going the wrong way at the wrong time is what makes it such a fun, joyful experience.
And we are learning, and many of us have learned how to laugh out loud because we have to learn those facial expressions and those the auditory parts of that. And that is something different to us too, because we get to see the sound vibrations in ways. We get to wrap our minds around those, and then we get to alter them and try them out. And that is lots of fun. That is lots of laughter because people are laughing at us laughing. And it is just a round robin, we will say, of happiness and joy and silliness And it is just deep, deep fun. And we look forward to bringing that to you. But if we were just laughing telepathically, then that
It's
is
not the same.
no, because it would be if you were us or you were
Right.
at that level where you could interpret and gather all of those energies in. But we have to have some of those physical mannerisms, not only so we can fit in and but in other ways blend in as well, but just to have more opportunities for beings to love us, for humans to appreciate us and to draw us into their hearts. Because that's when we will be able to not only be at our best, but to help them be at their best, but build relationships so we can help them integrate the knowledge that they need that's relevant for them.
That makes sense. Do you have humor in your society?
We have only humor in our society. It is built in. It comes with unconditional love. You see things and all of the enjoyment that we have. Because you have to imagine we are playing all the time, all the time. I mean, can you imagine if you were in school and you're sitting there and you're trying to pay attention to the teacher and you're having 4 or 5 conversations and you're playing 4 or 5 different games with other people at the same time and you could do all that in your head at once. So that is what we do. And we like making other people laugh. We like having those expressions which others find humorous because we share them automatically. And you do that too, but you might have to tap somebody on the arm and say, "Hey, let me tell you this wonderful thing that happened to me." But that happens with us automatically. The bigger the laughs, the bigger the share.
What types of role playing activities do you like to do?
It would be more appropriate to what type we do not like to do. Because whatever comes into our mind, we try to figure out how we can incorporate that not only into our lessons, but into play and to show other people our creativity. And when we say people, we are talking more the watchers and the other hybrid children and our teachers. Because, you know, we if we are learning about particular animals, we can imagine them with other attributes. Because you might say, oh, we're going to study your serpents, your snakes today. And yet we can still have them doing jump rope with each other or having artificial feet so they can learn how to tap dance or whatever it might be. Or, maybe perhaps give them, say, oh, we're going to have our fangs washed today. That sort of thing. And there is no end to the amount of play that hundreds of children who are connected can do when we're all trying to be silly and out silly each other.
Do you ever play by role playing what we humans do sometimes, the silly things we do?
Oh, yes, you're a great source of amusement because you do so many things which are, in Spock terms, illogical. Because and we do it in a playful manner, not in a judgmental way. And it's not like we would be afraid to bring those to you and do them in front of you. Now, humans still might get mad at some of that because sometimes the ego gets involved. And when we repeat things that humans might say, and we do it in funny voices or make funny faces while we're doing it, some people might take offense because they think we're making fun of them. No, we're just playing with the attributes, with the outbursts or whatever that they might do. Because that's part of our learning too. You humans are great teachers for us because we have to learn how to come amongst you. And that is very complex because there are so many different ways in which you not only socialize, but you socialize within various groups. And we're just going to come and be ourselves and make those groups accommodate us. That is the best way for us. Just share the love, share the love. And thank you all for your questions. We're going to have to send Miss Arla some happy hybrid children melodies so she can bang them out for you. It's a coming. Speaking of sleep time, I think all you guys are qualifying now.
Any more questions from the group?
And we do appreciate you all coming and paying attention to us and to share your experience and to learn more about us through your inquisitive minds and your inquisitive hearts. And keep those inner child happy. Keep them happy, those inner children which you have in and amongst you. And you can do that with other people as well. And you can ask them about their inner child, and that will help spur them some ideas, and you can explain how that works to them. And you can help and take that inner child of them by the hand too and say, hey, they might not be spending enough money or are spending enough time with you, but you're important and we love you. And that will have an effect too. Especially if you do it right in front of them. They will say, who are you talking to? But they will feel it. They will know. And thank you. Keep singing, keep playing, and keep
Well, thank
growing.
you. Thank you so much for coming among us and co-creating and sharing this time. We just revel and love the energy that you bring. Thank you.
And thank you. And you are all a gift. You are a gift to the many. You are loved and you are respected and you are observed by way, way, way more than what you could ever imagine. And that is part of the magic of being human and not being able to reciprocate all of that emotions. But you are learning and you are growing and you will be receiving more and more and more love. And you can share more and more and more love. And right now, we are going to go and we will come back and play with you some more and possibly in your dream states, but probably not because you guys are all busy doing other things. You are busy preparing for open contact in your dreams. I hope you know that. We know that. We know that you know that. But we want you to think about that too. And we will
Yeah.
catch up with you again. Oh,
Always such fun energy.
oh, it is.
Mm,
And it was like a mixed group. There were children who were coming in and out.
yep.
It was like there were older children who wanted to communicate that message. They were being observed about, and they were kind of given the task to talk about the inner child. And they all had different thoughts on how to do that. So some of
Mhm.
them got to talk, and then when they were done with theirs, then the next one came in and said, okay, now we're going to talk about the inner child of their other beings.
Mhm.
And they were kind of segregating it, and they were all interacting with each other. And they always, oh, I don't know about always, but it seems like they're always trying to make each other laugh and throw amusing things into trying to mess other people up. Kind of like, you're trying to have a serious talk and somebody else is behind the person you're talking to making faces at you. That's that's kind of what they're doing because because they know what's going to make individuals laugh or experience more joy. It's not even really laugh. It's just amping them up in that way. And it's kind of hard to explain.
I don't think the hybrid children need and pink. One of the questions that I just thought of now was, how patient are your teachers
Well, but
with?
but I mean, their teachers love them more than what we can imagine or experience. I mean, they consider the hybrid children their highest desire, their highest form of excitement. And we think of it more as duty or obligation, but for them it is living. That is their greatest joy, is seeing them grow and blossom like flowers or that sort of things. You know, when we have our creations, the hybrid children are their heart creations.
Right. That's a good analogy with the flowers.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
and that's one of the things when Benicia, the name for the Yael teacher that came through that the future Pleiadians allowed and set up for the book. And that whole time that, Luis was asking questions, they were focused. They were using like 1/8 or 1/10 of their mental capacity to do that particular session. And the rest of the time, they were interacting with the hybrid children. They were observing, they were nurturing, they were answering questions, making suggestions. The whole time, that was their main focus. And
Very cool.
yeah, that's one of the wonderful things about, the channeling is you learn what it's like to not be human in a real objective way, I will say, because all of those different perspectives
Mhm.
are given to you and they can't all flow through because language isn't going to do it.
Right.
And
Right.
also, Anita, I think you need to bear in mind that what they term as teacher lessons are completely different concepts from what we have on Earth.
Ah, true. Very
Different.
good point, Christiana. Thank you. Very, very good point.
I mean, yeah, they default to the Yaels whenever you think teachers, but they have different classifications, because they have human teachers like you guys and me, because we're helping to teach them about the social expectations and reactions. And I know they mentioned something about, they had to learn to laugh out loud.
Right.
So that's a lesson,
They have to learn
when
it.
we think of school and persons that we had as teachers, it was a whole different dynamic and energies and relationships. So you cannot take this and apply it to something like the hybrid
Yeah.
children. It's
Right. Right.
completely
Very good
different
point.
world.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
and
good point.
and I get the impression like they are relationship wise closer to their teachers than any human is to a parent
Right.
or a loved one.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, it's like they have Siamese hearts
Oh.
and they're just joined as one in that way. And they're just so supportive and caring. And, when you're unconditional love,
Mhm.
that's the attachment and the energy that they give to everybody. And
Mhm.
that's the inner child too. That's one of the things that they wanted to impress. I'm not sure how well they did that, but the inner child is all unconditional love. And it is that resource, that seed within us that we can tap into to help us out of difficult situations or to lift us up. And
Mhm.
I haven't been really cognizant of that for a long time. When I think about that kind of joy, I default to the hybrid children, but that is within us.
Yes.
I thought that was a really good lesson.
Yes. Yes.
And I didn't know they were going to talk about that. I knew that, they had brought it up, but I didn't know what it was going to be. And it was weird energy too. there were a lot of because there were a lot of children who ended up having parts in that session. Like they
Mhm.
were parading them in and out.
Yep.
And I guess some of the older ones were wrangling them. I don't know. But yeah, it was interesting. They were passing themselves around, I guess.
Oh,
And,
fun.
and
Oh,
they
fun.
love making fun of us. Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
Well, we provide no end
Mhm.
of material for that.
Well, and they have to learn, when not to share some of that stuff as well. Because, and that's one of the things, with them speaking language, it slows them down because they're thinking in symbols and actual events and energies, and it's rapid. And when you have to break it down into words so you can communicate with humans, it takes a lot of focus for them.
Right, right,
But when it's mission time, they're not going to be trying to make each other laugh. They're going to be supporting each other on the missions
right,
and adding understanding to those, the people who they're teaching or guiding or whatever it might be. Because the mission is the thing. It is the number one focus. It's incredible how important they know that, they are one peg, one Lego in this structure.
right,
And while
right,
they're free to explore and enjoy as much as they can within that, it's all within the confines of their missions, whatever it might be. Building awareness, bringing in new technology, uplifting humanity, building relationships, connecting humans with other beings who are interested, are vibrationally compatible. So they're going to be introducing us to not only our new family, but our new friends as well. It's exciting.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm with you on the yawn, Christina. Well, cool. Well, thank you all, ladies. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We can still continue to talk.